Welcome back to Monday Mukbang.
Where'd they leave to?
We are going to eat some breakfast today. I've got some bagels here. I've got 3 on my plate. I don't know that I'll eat all 3. I might. I don't know. I got 2 plain bagels and a cinnamon raisin bagel. These guys are eating Tofu Scramble. It's got jackfruit in it and tofu.
If you want to,
go ahead.
If you want to, I actually recorded a little bit of a video ahead of time. If you can cut to it right there.
Yeah, I can cut to it right now.
I don't know if Jessica's going to use this, but this is a little behind the scenes from Omnis Eat Vegan this morning, the mukbang. This is half a bag of frozen hash brown mix, a whole container of jackfruit, Tex-Mex, and then a whole package of tofu crumbled, a teaspoon and a half of black salt powder. It's going to add the egg flavor. Also, just a couple shakes of turmeric and a dash of rosemary, along with probably a teaspoon of Mrs. Dash. And right now it's just sort of cooking. I'm gonna mix it up here in a second. Nut cheese by Parmella Creamery. So we're gonna try this, and we're gonna add this on here. So I put some cheese. I just sprinkled some on lightly. I'm gonna stir this in, and then you'll see this again in our mukbang in a couple minutes, or as Jessica cuts it in and out. I don't know how she will, or if she'll use it at all. So I'm just going to stir this, probably saute it for another couple minutes. The cheese wasn't bad. It's got a little sweet flavor, so I don't know if I'm going to try to add a little, I might add like a couple tablespoons of salsa to this mix, only to bring the sort of Tex-Mex flavor back. With sweet cheese, it sort of makes it difficult. Alright, thanks.
Alright, or just in case that doesn't work out and you're not happy with that, this was created using a whole package of jackfruit, half a package of hash brown onion pepper mix.
I'm eating tofu cream cheese and Earth Balance vegan butter, by the way. Go ahead.
That's okay. A whole package of tofu.
That might be it.
No.
Some turmeric.
Yes. Some turmeric.
Put nut cheese in it.
I'm getting to the nut cheese.
Oh,
I'm also talking about my spices right now. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm sorry, we shouldn't rush the chef.
All right. Okay.
Go ahead.
Anyhow, there are. There's black salt. About a teaspoon, maybe a teaspoon and a half of black salt in here. Same amount of turmeric.
The eggy flavor and scent.
Yeah. A little bit of turmeric, a little bit of Mrs. Herb, garlic.
This is cream cheese.
Tablespoons, about 2 tablespoons of salsa. That's it.
The cheese.
Oh, and the nut cheese. And just a sprinkling of nut cheese. So, Neil, how does it taste?
Tastes good. It's really good.
No ketchup for you?
No, actually, no. It's a little too hot.
It was just spicy. There's a little spice there.
Oh, I know. I mean hot as in.
What's the matter?
I mean hot as in
want
it
more
was
butter?
just prepared. Hot.
Oh, you want a little bit of cream cheese? Mm-hmm. Nick's off screen here. He's also eating bagels this morning, but he didn't want to be in the conversation, so.
And our conversation this morning is about writing.
Yes.
What we have written and what we will be writing.
Yeah, we did talk a little bit about like our favorite genres to read. I don't think we ever talked about writing. Maybe we did. If we did, I'm sorry. We're going to talk about it again. You can leave that in the comment section below. Hey, Jessica, you know, you already did this, but you know, sometimes it's difficult to come up with topics. And the reason why we're talking about this today is because John and we actually started a publishing company about 1.5 years ago, and we've published a couple of things, not too many. We are open to submissions, but we've only published a couple of things so far. One of them being the Omnis Vegan Cookbook. Link is in the description below if you're interested. It's available on Amazon. Anyway, so we went to a book expo that's about an hour from where we are yesterday, and we spent 5-6 hours at this book expo talking to writers, talking to other publishing companies. I think they had about 70 vendors there.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of on our mind right now, and that's why we decided to go ahead and talk about this topic today. John and I are also taking a writing class right now at a local library, and Neil is actually in a creative writing class at the community college. So we're all in we're all in classes right now on different writing skills and writing capabilities. And we figured it would be a good topic to talk about, especially like I said with us going to this writer's book expo yesterday. So it was, go ahead.
And with, what's the writing month that comes up? Isn't it November?
NaNoWriMo is in March.
Oh.
National Novel Writers Month.
Oh, that's in March.
I'm sorry,
I thought it was in November.
November.
Okay. So I wasn't.
I don't know why March came out of my mouth.
That's your birthday.
I meant November. NaNoWriMo's in November. This is not for you, honey.
So,
Oh, okay, you sat down so good, I'll give you a bite.
also with, I don't know why I remembered NaNoWriMo coming up. NaNoWriMo, might as well talk about it as well.
Yeah.
None of us are going to write a novel.
I might.
She might. He should.
Wednesday! Wednesday just stole Buttercup's bite.
He should. I should. But neither of us will.
I might. The only thing that would hold me back from doing it this year is my dedication to YouTube. Because we do, I mean, you laugh at that, but I mean, we post...
YouTube.
YouTube. We post at minimum 13 videos a week.
I know.
Between our 3 channels. And if you're wondering where our other channels are, those are in, the links for those are in the description as well. But I have a beauty channel, and then I have a vlog channel that I run, and these guys show up in the vlog channel too, but it's mostly focused around me, so.
It's all about her.
Because her life's better than ours.
Yeah.
No.
That's gonna.
John will occasionally film for me if like he's doing something, but
I'm also a film for you when you're sick.
yeah. Honestly, our lives are pretty boring. Wow. But go ahead, Neil. Why don't you start talking?
Oh yeah, writing. There's more in there. I want to get the last
I'm gonna get it.
Unless
you get it.
writing. What can I say about me writing?
Well, what about your writing class?
Writing class has been alright. In terms of what we're being aimed to write, it definitely the teacher brings a lot of points that differ from what I've been told, especially with fiction and also within poetry. Maybe it's just the thing with writing. Maybe it's just because these are English and writing teachers in general have their own guidelines and rules to stick by. But definitely the teacher himself is very rule oriented. He's very much stick by the books of what has been presented throughout time. He doesn't. The teacher itself does not feel like, as students, we should be able to either break a rule or go in a different direction as what people have done, only due to the fact that we have not mastered any of the rules. Now, it's not that I don't disagree with the claim. It's just that
I disagree with that.
From other writers, from other people that I've listened to and have, taught me. I guess that'd be somewhat of the proper verb to use there. Has taught me about writing is very different from that. I've heard some people say that similar thing. Some don't. Some say don't do that. He very much believes that whatever you write, any story is hard, no matter what genre or what you're trying to write. I believe there's easier genres. I believe there is an easy and harder genre to write.
And just curiosity, can you clarify that? Easy genre versus hard genre?
I would say something as just a simple monster. I would say the easiest novels or easiest stories to write would be either about a monster or a romance, because I believe it's
Monster or a romance?
Speaking from someone who has never written a romance.
Right.
You've written a romance?
No,
Let me read it.
I've written though and thought of a ton of monster stories, and I feel like monster stories and romance are very easy because
But that's based
because
on the genre you read.
Because I would say that
My bagel's stuck.
it's very easy to come up with
My bagels.
girl and it may not even be good. I'm not saying that it has to be a good novel. I'm saying that it's easy to write a story.
You're saying it's easy to write boy meets girl or
Boy meets girl.
someone meets someone and falls in love.
Yes, I think that's an easy story with the monster. I agree.
I challenge you
I think a harder
to
story.
write one.
I think a harder story would definitely be. Now, my mother used to listen to it. Would be murder mystery. I think mystery and sci-fi are two of the hardest genres to write, just because of mystery, of the reasoning of going back to things you've already done. I mean, yes, stories in general have to do that, but with mystery, it's
Nicholas, you already have a lot of butter on that.
with mystery, it's very much it's very much the finer tuned details. You need to get down to make sure that things fit in a mystery, or else most people will be taken out, or some people would say it just doesn't fit. With sci-fi, at least from a number of sci-fis I've not written. I've never really written.
I would say
sci-fi.
fantasy probably.
Well, yeah, I get
Not so much sci-fi.
fantasy and sci-fi in general, I'd say, are the hardest ones, including mystery, because of just the fact of world building.
That's why I would agree with you on
and the
fantasy.
number of characterization that you may need to put through. I mean, there's probably a number of fantasy stories and sci-fi stories out there that do not have 5-6 characters that they characterize, and they may just go first person and have minor side characters and mainly characterize the main character. I mean, I've read stories like that, but I would definitely say the harder genres to write in, or at least have a lot more trouble in writing, would be mystery and fantasy in sci-fi. But I stick by with saying that romance and monster stories are easier to write because of the dynamic of two people falling in love, or the dynamic of just a scary monster in general. Now, I'm not pinpointing horror in general to just monster stories. There's definitely a number of horror stories that do not just revolve around a monster, but I would say in general, horror stories are just stories that have a monster, such as with a Godzilla. Godzilla, I'd say, is not a horror story, but it's definitely a monster story, and I feel like it's a very easy story to just say, well, this is what created it, and this is how it
affected the environment.
Yeah,
this is how humans overcame it.
And so I feel like both romance and monster stories are very easier to write because of the very easy guidelines that they have.
I'll give you, Neil.
I disagree.
I'll give you that because I mean, Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein, I don't know how many years ago, a lot, off the top of my head, and monsters have been hanging around in fiction or in storytelling for a very long time. That just means that no matter what you do, you have to do it well. It also is the same goes for romance. I mean, Shakespeare wrote romance stories, how many? I mean,
They were all tragedies, really.
No.
They were comedic.
They were.
Midsummer Night's
Listen,
Dream
actually,
was a comedy.
now Shakespeare would agree with you that Getting Married was considered a comedy in his day. I mean, death was considered a
Comedy
tragedy.
or a tragedy?
Well, tragedy was death. Comedy was marriage.
Oh, okay.
Because it's easily. They felt that comedies were easily. This is my interpretation of all classes I took, I don't know, what, 5, 6, 7 years ago.
You were an English major.
So Shakespeare sort of looked at it as, comedy. Nobody, you don't necessarily have to die. I mean, there are some things. There's some.
You can't have this one
There's
guy.
certain plays where he crosses that line, I think, and I can't remember off the top of my head. So I apologize.
Romeo and Juliet was a tragedy.
But they never got married.
That's true, but it was a love story that was a tragedy.
It was a love story that was a tragedy. There's one other one, and I just can't remember
You
it.
have this?
Beth? Oh, no.
No.
Oh, a drink.
Thank you.
So, I think any story is hard to write because it takes motivation,
Yeah.
and then it takes passion for you fall in love with your story, and then you have to take that same passion that you had in creating it and edit it,
Which I hate.
which makes sure that which assures it meets all the rules and expectations of somebody who is a lit major or someone who expects their work to be grammatically correct. Anyhow, I don't want to go on at length at sort of refuting Neil because it was an honest opinion, and you can have those opinions. But by the same token, like you said, you haven't written it, so until you actually write those stories, then you gotta talk. For me, I will not. Not unless Jessica says you just have to do it, John. I want you to do it. I will not pick up the pen and paper willingly to write a novel or anything.
Well, the class we're in right now, the lesson we have for this week is to write hint fiction, which I had never heard of before, but it's 25 words or less. You're supposed to write an entire story in 25 words or less.
Oh.
And I've never heard of this before. And it's a challenge. Like for me, especially, I'm a wordy writer. It's very much a challenge for me. But it's doable. Like we had examples in class, and it was definitely doable. And John actually wrote one already. I haven't written mine yet.
So it's supposed to be poetic?
Yes, it's very poetic.
It's they also refer to it as prose fiction.
And personally, like I've written several different genres. Complete novels. Not saying they're good. Not at all. But I've written several different full-length novels. When I get going on a story, I get going. And I really enjoy them. I really enjoy writing. It's my passion. I've written a murder mystery. I've written a young adult novel. I've written a romance novel. I've written a suspense novel.
And which one was the easiest to write?
I would say none of them were easy to write.
What was the easiest to have a concept for? If you could say
I've
one,
started a dystopian novel too.
if you could say, if you could look back and be like, well, I have a decent amount of details ready to write this story out of the gate, which one would you say is the most? Because this is where I feel like it would be romance. Because love is.
I will tell you that romance is very formulaic.
Because I would say love is
But-
is very much relatable to everyone.
Romance as a formula is there. But in order for it to be a good romance novel, you have to build the character very well because your readers need to connect to that character. And that's the challenge with romance that a lot of people don't get. Yeah, you can throw a bunch of kissing and more stuff in a romance novel. That's not going to make you connect to the character. You need to be able to really build character, whereas in something like a fantasy, you really need to build your world because it's totally otherworldly. It's not in the here and now. So your character building might be able to suffer a little bit, not a ton. You still have to build character, but in fantasy, the focus is the world, building the world out. So every genre is challenging, with the exception, probably what I would tell you the easiest one would be is autobiography. You are
That's
right.
nonfiction.
It is nonfiction, but it's still a genre of writing.
All right.
And I'm not even saying biography, I'm saying autobiography. If I am writing my own memoir,
Memoir.
Yeah.
I am writing my own story. I'm writing my own history. It's as I remember it, unless I kept a journal and, you know everything that I did every single day. That's one of the things that I really kind of like about my daily vlog, is that I can look back on that and see what I did every single day for the entire year. I can see the one day that I had the flu and John filmed for me, because I was totally out. I was in bed the entire day. I did not get out of bed. But I can go back and look at the entire year and see what happened. So that's kind of neat to me. That's one of the reasons why I kind of like the daily vlog format. But overall, I would say that is the easiest genre of book to write. As far as fiction goes, every one of them has a positive and a negative. And a lot of that goes in line with what your imagination is good at. So if you're good at envisioning an otherworldly situation, you might want to write a fantasy or a science fiction. If you're really good at people watching and understanding the way people interact and the psychology of people, maybe a romance or something like that might be a little bit better. If you enjoy
or a horror
crime,
for that way. Or a horror for that matter, of watching people.
yeah, I mean,
Because a lot of what people do, you can write something about.
so how was your guys' tofu scramble?
It's delicious.
It's good. It was spicy.
Yeah.
8 out of 10.
Yeah, it is.
Could have used a little more cheese.
I don't know. I was worried that nut cheese was awful sweet.
I didn't taste it.
This was a new nut cheese
I didn't-
we've not tried before.
I didn't taste it that much.
It was. We only put a sprinkle in. I did get the texture. I mean, it did cheesy to things to the stuff, so it didn't melt.
So it wasn't a melter.
I didn't.
No, it melted.
Oh, it did melt.
It did melt.
It did. There was some.
It did, yeah.
It strung some things together.
Okay. Well, I'm going to finish my other half of my second bagel. I'm not going to get to my third one. I'm just going to put this away. I'll eat it tomorrow for breakfast or something. But we really like this topic, or at least I really like this topic. I could probably talk for the next 2 hours, but we're running a little low on time. Neil's got to get to work. You know how it is when life gets in the way. But
So
let us know if you have any topics you want us to talk about in the comment section down below. I have a couple more topics that I'm thinking about for November. Maybe just like what it's like to be a YouTuber, because I know we've mentioned on this channel a couple of times, at least on our mukbangs, a couple of times, that we do produce a lot of videos a week. And I think at least, and maybe I'm totally wrong, but I think some of them are very good quality videos.
Yeah.
And my vlog channel, probably not so much. It's literally just following me around every day. But I think we try to put out the best quality we can. We look for feedback from our viewers. A lot of comments that we've gotten on this channel we have implemented. We don't put music on our channel anymore. We've tried a lot of products that people have recommended. We've talked about topics that people recommend as well. So we really love that interaction with our viewers, that, you know, any recommendations you guys have, we try to implement a lot of them. Maybe not every single one of them, but a lot of them. So yeah, we do have, maybe that's a topic coming up in November that we might talk about. Yeah, we've got a couple different topics for November, but anything you guys want to throw our way as things you'd like us to talk about or communicate on, I think we could probably do this again, maybe during November, since it is NaNoWriMo, and if I get my butt up and cut out a couple of hours of sleep and just start writing.
and if somebody else starts writing a novel of the two of us that wants to.
Maybe we'll talk about that in November.
Maybe you should put in the comments below if you think this man should write a novel. I've at least tried to start a novel.
What kind of stuff is this?
I tried to start a novel.
So you're gonna try and
I've
peer
stopped.
pressure the behavior analyst. Okay, good luck with that.
Just in the comments below, if you believe this man should write a novel, put a comment. Just put yes. Just put yes,
Luck.
and that's
or
it.
even a novella.
Yeah, or a short story, or some short stories. We can put some short stories.
friends.
So, put your comment below if you have any topics, if there's any dishes you'd like us to create. We have a chef, of course, so he can do whatever he needs to do to get that to be delicioso. And also, if you'd like, I know it may not happen, but if you believe this man to write a good novel or novella, type yes in the comments below.
John's a very good writer.
And we'll see what happens
And a good chef.
if we talk about this back in the coming November. This has been Omnis Eat Vegan. Hit the like button if you liked the video. Of course, as we've said a million times before, comment what you need. Hit the subscribe button if you want to be updated in our videos. Also hit the notification bell if you haven't to see any upcoming videos that we might produce. And this has been Omnis Vegan signing out. Have a wonderful day.
Bye. See you next
Bye.
time.